Welcome back. Well, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi participated in the Economic Egypt-EU Summit in Brussels. And to discuss this event in more details over the phone, we have Dr. Milad Momtaz. He is international relations expert. Hello.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, doctor. First of all, how did you read the speech delivered by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi?
Actually, the speech was very much straightforward. It was clear. It was an evidential speech. Some points actually were so crucial because President Sisi focused on the cooperation between Egypt and the EU in a very clear way. And something else I'd like to highlight in this regard is that cooperation is the only way to get to stability in the region. Mr. President has stressed that very clearly. It's time to cooperate rather than we collide or we confront with each other. I think that was very clear. Something else that drew my attention in His Excellency's speech is that Mr. President did not focus only on Egypt. He talked as well about, Sudan. He talked as well about Libya. Of course, talking about Gaza and the situation in Gaza is one of the most important highlights in the summit at Brussels. So I think, the speech by His Excellency was very straightforward, was highly focusing on the future cooperation between Egypt and the EU. And let me put it straightforward that it's the first ever that we see that kind of cooperation, that high-profile cooperation between Europe, between the European Union, and between Egypt or a country outside of Europe. And not only outside of Europe, I'd like to point out that it's the first country in the south, because we're not okay in the north, which are very advanced countries, like most of European countries and North America and other countries as well, and to cooperate directly at that very high level with Egypt. So once again, I think that a speech by Mr. President was very crucial. The timing, the wording, everything, I find it as very actually, beneficial, not only to Egypt, by the way, but I think to Europe and to the entire world.
Well, of course, the EU is one of the main partners when it comes to trade and investment with Egypt. So what's the impact of this event on the future in general when it comes to Egypt and the whole region?
Economically speaking, I think it's very crucial and highly fundamental, as you said, not only to Egypt as a country, but to the entire region, and I wouldn't be exaggerating if I put it that way, to the entire world as well. Because it's time to work together. It's time to join forces, if I may put it this way. It's time to go ahead, to move forward. And I think the economic opportunity is like endless to me. Egypt now is on the right track, economically speaking. I think we have been working for the last 10 years, or more than 10 years now, to pave the way for this. The different reforms, economic reforms, the different incentives. And something else I'd like to highlight is the infrastructure, the solid infrastructure. Yeah, there is more to be done about the infrastructure in Egypt, but I think, we are on the right track now, and we can invite investors from all around the world, and namely here in this instance, we talk about European investors. We can invite them to come over and invest their money directly in Egypt, because once again, the economic opportunities in Egypt, are amazing. And if I may give an example, let's look at the Suez Canal, the economic zone there at the Suez Canal. I think that is very promising, and not only very promising to the region, it's very promising to the entire world, because Suez Canal is one of the most important maritime routes in the whole world. So when we focus on this very important economic hub, in the Suez Canal, and we invest more and we invite foreign investors to come and invest their money there, I think that is a wonderful opportunity to the investors and to our country, because that provides numerous number of job opportunities to Egyptians. And if you may, I'd like to add something else regarding the economic opportunities. Egypt at the summit at Brussels, I think we focus on something else, and Mr. President mentioned in his speech, it's about the human capital. It's not only that we invite investors to come to Egypt. It's about, education. It's about human capital, working with human capital, developing human capital. It's about technology transfer as well, because I heard Mr. President yesterday, stressing on, the European universities, that the importance of European universities, that they would come here to Egypt, because we need more and more of the advanced educational system to come to Egypt, because I think Egypt is a wonderful potential place that they could actually start from. So economically speaking, once again, I find it as it's the perfect timing now. Egypt is very much ready to go ahead with this. I think Europe is very much actually ready to go ahead with this, because Europe, I would say, that it's finally they have realized how important Egypt is, not only, politically. Of course, politically speaking, we have seen that in action at Sharm el-Sheikh. Okay, it was very evident that Egypt, has been accredited for this, and everyone has recognized that Egypt is a heavyweight country, diplomatically speaking. But Egypt is a very heavyweight, country, economically speaking as well. When it comes to the potentiality, Egypt is very much potential, economically speaking. And I'd like to say that we should take advantage of this, and that's what we have been seeing at Brussels for the last couple of days. Egypt is moving very, very strongly in that direction, that we get everyone to be convinced that Egypt deserves this. Egypt deserves a better place, economically speaking, not only in the region, but in the entire world as well.
So how can this event and the goals that you have just mentioned align with Egypt's goals when it comes to renewable energy and the infrastructure in general?
Actually, that's a very crucial question, because the world itself is heading in that direction, the direction of clean energy. For example, like green hydrogen. It's very, very important. So I think Egypt has realized that, I think, like I would say 10 years ago. And I think that's our part and parcel of our vision of 2030, by the way. It's about renewable energy. It's very, very crucial. And we have been working so hard. If we see, for example, the latest projects, concerning the railways, it relies heavily on electricity, because we need to get rid of fossil fuels and the heavy reliance on fossil fuels. And I think that's a very important sign. So Egypt, I think, realizing that very important fact that the whole world is heading into that direction, I think we're working so hard into achieving this. And we have seen numerous number of projects, and even Europe, they have seen how seriously that the situation is. We have taken this very seriously in Egypt. I think they, want to invest like billions of dollars in Egypt. I heard a figure yesterday at the press conference. It's like 49 billion, euros. They want to invest in that sector, only that sector. Can we imagine the sector of clean energy? Because it's the future, and it's the future of economy. That has to do with your previous question. If you want to do business the right way nowadays, we need to focus on clean energy and renewable sources of energy. And Egypt, as I said, we have been working very hard and very efficiently on achieving this, not only in terms of plans, not only as in words on paper. We have been taking different actions into that direction, into achieving this for real. It's a reality in Egypt now, despite the fact that, yes, they have been talking about the third world countries, and partly they are responsible for whatever climate change, despite the fact that it's very much the opposite. But we should forget about this, and we need to move forward, and we are very much ready to take advantage of this. And that is part of what you said as well in your question about the infrastructure. By the way, green energy and clean energy is part and parcel of the world's infrastructure nowadays. Infrastructure is not only about roads. Infrastructure is not only about, for example, electricity, which I think they are very crucial as well, but it's about energy. And energy is the future of the whole world. And we need actually to be far-sighted as we have been doing for the last 10 years concerning, clean energy and how to take advantage of clean energy.
Dr. Milad Momtaz, international relation expert, thank you very much for joining us. I'm moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back with more on The Breakfast Show.